Procrastination isn't just a bad habit, it's the enemy of greatness, the silent killer of dreams waiting on the sidelines. Stop waiting. The perfect time will never come, and every second you delay is a second stolen from your destiny. Start exactly where you are. Use what's in your hands. And as Hill declared, the better tools will reveal themselves in motion. Most people stand frozen, staring at their goals like deer in headlights, knowing what they want, but paralyzed by fear of imperfection. They let the blank page intimidate them, forgetting that no success story was ever written by someone who refused to pick up the pen. I've seen it too many times, talented people stuck in almost, gifted minds buried under someday. Hill saw it too, after studying hundreds of successful men and women who had one thing in common. They started before they felt ready. Think of that business, that book, that mission burning inside you, and ask yourself, how much longer will you let fear hold the pen? Because the moment you wait for motivation, you hand your future over to chance, and chance has no loyalty to your dreams. Hill didn't whisper his message, he shouted it from the page. Action transforms thought into power. Your ideas? Useless without execution. Your plans? Dead without motion. Your dreams? Doomed if you wait for perfect timing. Flawless preparation is a myth. What's real is imperfect action repeated relentlessly with unwavering belief and self-discipline. This is the truth. Clarity comes through motion, courage is born in resistance, and growth begins where excuses end. So act. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel ready. Now. Because while you wait, someone else is out there building what you only dreamed of. Today, we're diving into why you might not be taking action and how to break free, drawing straight from Hill's timeless principles. One major barrier is waiting for motivation to strike, that elusive feeling of readiness that never quite arrives. Hill warned against this in his interviews with millionaires who admitted it cost them years of potential success. They thought they needed to feel inspired first, but as Hill revealed, motivation is actually a byproduct of action, not its prerequisite. Don't fall into this trap. Rely on your decisions, not your emotions, to propel you ahead. Another pitfall is the failure to decide, that paralyzing indecision that keeps ideas locked away. In Think and Grow Rich, Hill dedicated a whole chapter to decisions showing how they turn vague thoughts into concrete plans. Think of Andrew Carnegie, whom Hill studied closely. He transformed uncertainty into empire by making quick, firm choices. Indecision is the thief of opportunity, stealing your chances before you even realize they're gone. And then there's fear and uncertainty, those shadows that loom large over every bold step. Hill described fear as an enemy, one that successful people like Thomas Edison faced head-on, turning doubt into determination. Picture the entrepreneur dreaming of a groundbreaking business, but held back by the terror of rejection. Yet, as Hill pointed out, every great achiever pushed through that fear, using it as fuel rather than a barrier. Now, let's shift to the solution, the sheer power of taking immediate action, even if it's imperfect. Hill believed that one small step ignites a chain reaction, just as his own persistence led him to interview over 500 successful people. Start now, and you'll find motivation following suit, building momentum with every move you make. To strengthen your decisiveness, practice Hill's method. Set a timer for just 5 minutes and commit to a decision without second guessing. Decisiveness is like a muscle. It grows stronger with every use, turning hesitation into habit. Take that first step, no matter how small, because as Hill said, the world is filled with successful people who began with nothing but a decision to act. Right now, identify one task, Perhaps sending that email or making that call, and do it before you move on. Overcoming hesitation and fear starts with facing them head on, using Hill's techniques like autosuggestion to build a positive mental attitude. Visualize your success and watch as immediate action dissolves those doubts, just as it did for the Titans Hill profiled. Remember, failure isn't the end. It's a stepping stone, carrying the seed of an equivalent advantage, as Hill famously noted. Think of Hill's own setbacks. He turned each defeat into a lesson that refined his philosophy and propelled him forward. Build self-discipline as the foundation of your success, for it's not fleeting emotions, but steady habits that drive achievement. Hill observed that self-discipline separates dreamers from doers, turning daily efforts into lasting empires. Start small. Dedicate just 15 minutes each morning to your goal, mirroring Hill's routine when he wrote his groundbreaking books. Watch as these positive habits transform your life, one consistent action at a time. To make this all work, create a clear vision and set definite goals, just as Hill's definite chief aim concept demands. Without goals, action wanders aimlessly. With them, even the smallest steps lead to tangible results. Hill's successful subjects always had a vivid vision, turning abstract desires into reality through focused effort. Try this exercise. Write down one goal, break it into 3 to 5 actionable steps, and schedule them immediately. Action on these will spark the motivation you've been seeking. Let me share a real-life example to bring this home. Consider Henry Ford, whom Hill greatly admired. Despite ridicule for his horseless carriage idea, Ford acted decisively, overcoming fear and failure to revolutionize the auto industry. His story proves that it's not perfection, but persistent action that leads to breakthroughs. As we wrap up, remember Hill's core message. Motivation doesn't come before action. It follows it faithfully. By forcing yourself to take that first step, you unlock the door to progress and true success. Don't let this end without acting. Choose one small task related to your goal and do it now. As Hill so powerfully put it, the starting point of all achievement is desire, but the finishing point is action. Start today and watch your life transform. Procrastination is the enemy of progress, as Napoleon Hill wisely stated in Think and Grow Rich, reminding us that waiting for the perfect moment only delays our destiny. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a great opportunity, ideas swirling in your mind, yet hesitation holds you back like an invisible chain. This feeling is all too common, as Hill observed in his interviews with successful individuals who once battled the same inertia that traps so many dreams. Imagine staring at a blank page, knowing your book could change lives, but fear keeps your pen idle, just as Hill noted in his reflections on wasted potential. The truth is, these emotions create a cycle of inaction, where clear ideas remain just that, ideas, never blossoming into reality. Hill taught that success doesn't wait for motivation. It demands we act despite our doubts, turning thoughts into tangible results. Waiting for the just right time is an illusion, as Hill warned, because perfection is a myth that keeps us stagnant. As he emphasized, progress comes from starting imperfectly, with whatever tools we have, and better ones will emerge along the way. So, let's uncover why we often fail to take that crucial first step, drawing from Hill's timeless principles. One major barrier is waiting for motivation to strike, but as Hill pointed out, motivation is rarely a starting point, it's a result of action. Hill interviewed millionaires who admitted that years slipped away while they waited for the perfect moment, a trap we must avoid. This false belief that we must feel ready before acting leads to endless delays, as Hill described in his chapter on decisive action. In fact, Hill's research showed that true achievers, like Andrew Carnegie, didn't wait for feelings. They created momentum through sheer willpower. Another pitfall is the failure to decide, which Hill called the thief of opportunity, paralyzing progress even when goals are clear. Indecision stems from a lack of commitment, as Hill explained, turning vague thoughts into missed chances rather than concrete plans. Hill's observations of successful people reveal that quick, firm choices were their secret weapon, much like Carnegie's rapid decisions in building his empire. Fear and uncertainty often compound this hesitation, as Hill discussed in his writings on fear as a major enemy of achievement. Think of the entrepreneur dreaming of a business, but paralyzed by the thought of rejection, a scenario Hill encountered in his studies. Yet, as Hill reminded us, figures like Thomas Edison faced immense uncertainty but pushed forward, transforming fear into the fuel for innovation. The solution lies in taking immediate action, even if it's imperfect, as Hill advocated in his principle of definite action. By acting now, you ignite a chain reaction, just as Hill's own persistence led him to interview over 500 successful individuals. Remember, one small step creates momentum, turning hesitation into habit, as Hill believed was essential for any great achievement. To strengthen decisiveness, practice Hill's method. Set a timer for just 5 minutes and make a firm choice without overthinking. Decisiveness is a muscle, as Hill taught, and it grows stronger with every decision you force yourself to make. Start by identifying one task right now, perhaps sending that email or making that call, and commit to it immediately. As Hill said, the world is filled with successful people who started with nothing but a decision to act. So don't wait for perfect circumstances. Overcoming hesitation begins by facing fear head on, using Hill's technique of autosuggestion to build a positive mental attitude. When you take action today, fear starts to fade, just as it did for the titans Hill profiled in his books. Hill advised visualizing success to counteract doubt, turning what seems impossible into achievable steps. Learning from failure is key, as Hill famously noted. Every failure brings with it the seed of an equivalent advantage. Consider Hill's own setbacks. He turned them into lessons that refined his philosophy and propelled him to greater heights. Build self-discipline as the foundation of your success, for as Hill declared, it's discipline, not emotion, that drives real progress. Hill observed that self-discipline separates dreamers from doers, turning daily efforts into lasting empires. Start with small habits, like dedicating just 15 minutes each morning to your goal, as Hill did when writing his influential works. Through repetition, as Hill emphasized, these habits become second nature, transforming your life one day at a time. A clear vision and goals are what fuel your motivation, drawing from Hill's concept of a definite chief aim. Without specific goals, action lacks direction, but as Hill taught, a vivid vision turns abstract desires into real results. Follow Hill's method. Write down one goal today, break it into 3 to 5 actionable steps, and schedule them without delay. Remember, action on these steps generates the motivation you've been seeking, creating a cycle of success. For real-life inspiration, look to Henry Ford, whom Hill admired for his decisive action despite ridicule for his horseless carriage idea. Ford overcame fear and failure through persistent effort, revolutionizing the auto industry and proving Hill's principles in action. His story shows that breakthroughs come not from perfection, but from forcing yourself to move forward. In conclusion, as Napoleon Hill taught, motivation follows action, not the other way around. It's the key to unlocking your potential. Don't let this end without taking a step. Choose one small task related to your goal and do it now, no matter how simple. As Hill's words echo, The starting point of all achievement is desire, but the finishing point is action. Start today and transform your life. Procrastination is the enemy of progress, as Napoleon Hill wisely stated. In his book Think and Grow Rich, Hill reminds us that waiting for the perfect moment only leads to missed opportunities. Many people find themselves trapped in a cycle of hesitation, staring at their goals without taking the first step. This feeling of inertia can feel overwhelming, like a heavy weight holding you back from your potential. Hill observed that even the most successful individuals once battled this same paralysis. For instance, imagine an aspiring writer with a groundbreaking idea, yet fear keeps them from typing the first word. Hill's interviews with achievers like Andrew Carnegie revealed that they overcame this by simply beginning, no matter how imperfectly. The truth is, thoughts alone won't change your life. Action is the bridge between ideas and reality. As Hill taught, perfect preparation is an illusion. Start where you are, with what you have. Transitioning from thought to action requires recognizing that motivation often follows effort, not the other way around. Now, let's explore why so many struggle to take that crucial first step. One major barrier is waiting for motivation to strike, as if it were some magical force. Hill warned against this in Think and Grow Rich, calling it a dangerous trap that derails progress. He interviewed millionaires who admitted that years were wasted waiting for the right feeling. Don't fall into this pitfall. Remember, action creates motivation, not vice versa. Another reason is the failure to make a firm decision, which Hill identified as a key weakness in his studies. Indecision acts like a thief, stealing your opportunities before they even materialize. Hill's research showed that people like Henry Ford succeeded by committing quickly to their choices. Without decisive action, even the clearest ideas remain just dreams. Fear and uncertainty often amplify this hesitation, as Hill discussed in his writings on overcoming personal fears. Picture the entrepreneur terrified of rejection, holding back from launching their business. Hill would say that every great achiever, from Thomas Edison to Ford, faced these doubts but pushed through anyway. They turned fear into fuel, using it as a catalyst for growth. So, how do we break free from these chains? The solution lies in taking immediate action. As Hill advocated, even a small step can ignite a chain reaction of progress. He believed that persistence in action led him to interview over 500 successful people, turning his own life around. Start now, regardless of how unprepared you feel, and watch momentum build. To strengthen your decisiveness, practice Hill's method of setting a timer and committing without overthinking. Make quick, firm choices. It's a skill that improves with repetition. Remember, decisiveness is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Take that first step today, no matter how minor it seems. For example, if your goal is to write a book, send that initial email to a potential editor right now. Hill emphasized that waiting for perfect circumstances is futile. The world is full of successes who started with very little. Overcoming hesitation and fear is essential, and Hill's teachings on autosuggestion can help. By visualizing success and acting immediately, you dissolve fear's grip. Hill profiled titans who faced setbacks but charged ahead, turning hesitation into history. Learning from failure is key, as Hill famously said that every failure carries the seed of an equivalent advantage. Think of his own experiences. He used rejections to refine his philosophy and achieve greatness. Building self-discipline is the foundation for sustained action, according to Hill. Discipline, not fleeting emotions, is what separates dreamers from doers. Hill observed that consistent habits build empires, as seen in the routines of the wealthy he studied. Start small. Dedicate just 15 minutes a day to your goal and let discipline take root. Clear vision and goals provide the direction for your actions, as Hill's definite chief aim principle explains. Without specific goals, your efforts lack focus, but with them, every step gains purpose. Follow Hill's method. Write down one goal, break it into actionable steps, and begin immediately to fuel your motivation. Procrastination is the enemy of progress, as Napoleon Hill wisely stated. In his book Think and Grow Rich, Hill reminds us, do not wait. The time will never be just right. Start where you stand and work with whatever tools you may have at your command. Better tools will be found as you go along, turning hesitation into momentum. Many people feel trapped in a cycle of inaction, staring at their dreams without moving forward. Imagine the writer with a groundbreaking idea, yet fear keeps the pen idle, just as Hill observed in his interviews. This hesitation stems from common barriers like doubt and uncertainty. Hill taught that success begins with mental preparation, but it demands immediate execution to truly take hold. Waiting for the perfect moment is an illusion that leads to regret. As Hill emphasized, thoughts are powerful, but they only become reality through persistent effort. Perfect feelings or preparation rarely arrive. Progress comes from starting imperfectly. Now, let's uncover why you might not be taking action, as Hill warned against these pitfalls. One major barrier is waiting for motivation to strike before you begin. Hill critiqued this false belief in Think and Grow Rich, noting that motivation is a byproduct of action, not its prerequisite. He interviewed millionaires who lost years waiting for the perfect moment. Don't fall into this trap. Instead, act first and let energy build from there. Another issue is the failure to make firm decisions, which Hill identified as a key to success. In his chapter on decisions, Hill explained that indecision paralyzes progress and steals opportunities. Even with clear ideas, hesitation often comes from a lack of commitment. Hill's research showed that decisive individuals, like Andrew Carnegie, turned vague thoughts into concrete plans. Fear and uncertainty also hold you back, as Hill described in his discussions on fear as an enemy. Picture the entrepreneur dreaming of a business but paralyzed by rejection. Hill would remind you that great achievers like Thomas Edison faced uncertainty but pushed forward. They turned fear into fuel, transforming setbacks into stepping stones. The solution lies in taking immediate action, as Hill advocated through his principle of definite action. Even a small step creates momentum and ignites motivation. Hill believed that one action sparks a chain reaction, much like his own persistence in interviewing over 500 successful people. Start now and watch as motivation follows your efforts. To strengthen decisiveness, follow Hill's method of making firm choices quickly. Set a timer for 5 minutes and commit to a decision without overthinking. Decisiveness is a muscle that grows stronger with practice, as Hill demonstrated in his teachings. Practice taking that first step, regardless of conditions, just as Hill recommended. Don't wait for perfect circumstances. The world is filled with successful people who started with nothing but a decision. Right now, identify one task, perhaps sending an email or making a call, and do it immediately. Overcoming hesitation and fear is essential, and Hill's insights on auto-suggestion can help. By facing fear head-on, you dissolve its power through positive mental attitudes. Visualize success to counteract doubt, as Hill advised, and watch hesitation fade. This approach worked for the Titans Hill profiled, turning fear into a driving force. Remember, failure is not the end. It's a stepping stone, as Hill famously said. Every failure brings with it the seed of an equivalent advantage, he wrote. Think of Hill's own setbacks, which he used to refine his philosophy and propel himself forward. Building self-discipline is the foundation of success, according to Hill's principle of mastery through repetition. Discipline, not fleeting emotions, moves you forward and separates dreamers from doers. Hill observed that consistent habits build empires, as seen in the lives of his successful subjects. Start by practicing positive habits, like dedicating time each day to your goals. For instance, wake up early and commit 15 minutes to your passion, just as Hill did when writing his books. Over time, these rituals will transform your life and foster unbreakable discipline. Creating a clear vision and goals is crucial, drawing from Hill's concept of a definite chief aim. Without specific goals, action lacks direction and purpose. Hill's successful subjects always had a vivid vision that turned desires into results. Define your goals now by writing them down and breaking them into actionable steps. Follow Hill's method. List one goal, divide it into 3 to 5 steps, and schedule them immediately. This process will generate the motivation you've been seeking through deliberate action. For real-life inspiration, consider Henry Ford, whom Hill admired greatly. Despite ridicule for his horseless carriage idea, Ford acted decisively and overcame fear. He turned failures into breakthroughs, revolutionizing the auto industry. Ford's story proves that action, not perfection, leads to monumental success. In conclusion, as Napoleon Hill taught, motivation doesn't precede action, it follows it. Force yourself to take that first step today and unlock the door to progress and achievement. Remember Hill's words, the starting point of all achievement is desire, but the finishing point is action. Procrastination is the enemy of progress, as Napoleon Hill so wisely stated in Think and Grow Rich. Do not wait. The time will never be just right. Start where you stand and work with whatever tools you may have at your command. Better tools will be found as you go along. Imagine staring at a blank page, knowing your book could change lives, but fear keeps your pen idle. This is the cycle of inaction that Hill observed in many, even those with brilliant ideas. It's a trap that holds you back from realizing your potential. As Hill noted in his interviews with successful individuals, they once battled the same inertia. Thoughts are things, but they only become reality through persistent effort. Waiting for perfect feelings or preparation is an illusion. Progress comes from starting imperfectly, right now. As Hill taught, waiting for motivation is a recipe for regret. Let's uncover why you might not be taking action. One major barrier is waiting for motivation to strike. Hill warned against relying on fleeting emotions. He interviewed millionaires who admitted that waiting for the perfect moment cost them years. Don't fall into this trap. Motivation is a byproduct of action, not its prerequisite. Another issue is the failure to decide. Indecision paralyzes progress, as Hill emphasized in his chapter on decisions. Even with clear ideas, hesitation stems from a lack of commitment. Hill's research showed that decisive people, like Andrew Carnegie, turned vague thoughts into concrete plans. They made quick, firm choices, proving that indecision is the thief of opportunity. Fear and uncertainty also play a big role in holding you back. The fear of failure and doubt about outcomes cause hesitation, as Hill described in his discussions on fear as an enemy. Picture the entrepreneur who dreams of starting a business but fears rejection. Hill would remind you that every great achiever, from Thomas Edison to Henry Ford, faced uncertainty. They pushed forward anyway, turning fear into fuel for their success. Now, Let's shift to the solution. Take immediate action. The power of action lies in acting immediately, even if imperfectly. As Hill advocated in his definite action principle, one small step ignites a chain reaction. Just as his own persistence led to interviewing over 500 successful people, start now and watch motivation follow. Strengthening decisiveness is key, drawing from Hill's emphasis on definite purpose. Practice his method. Set a timer for 5 minutes and commit to a decision without overthinking. Decisiveness is a muscle that strengthens with use. Take that first step, regardless of conditions, as Hill recommended. Don't wait for perfect circumstances. The world is filled with successful people who started with nothing but a decision to act. Right now, identify one task, send that email, make that call, and do it before this ends. Overcoming hesitation and fear is essential for lasting change. Immediate action dissolves fear, based on Hill's teachings on autosuggestion and positive mental attitudes. Visualize success to counteract fear, and you'll find hesitation fading, just as it did for the titans he profiled. Learning from failure is another crucial step. Hill's famous line reminds us that every failure brings with it the seed of an equivalent advantage. Think of Hill's own setbacks. He used them to refine his philosophy, turning defeats into lessons. Build self-discipline as the foundation of your success. Discipline, not emotion, moves people forward, as per Hill's principle of mastery through repetition. Hill observed that self-discipline is what separates dreamers from doers. It's the daily grind that builds empires. Practice positive habits to support your goals, such as waking up early or completing tasks. Start with small, daily rituals. Dedicate 15 minutes to your goal each morning, as Hill did when writing his books. Watch discipline transform your life through consistent effort. Create a clear vision and goals to fuel your motivation. Clear goals provide direction, drawing from Hill's definite chief aim concept. Without goals, action lacks purpose. Hill's successful subjects always had a vivid vision. This turned abstract desires into tangible results. Follow Hill's method. Write down one goal, break it into 3 to 5 actionable steps, and schedule them. Remember, action on these steps will generate the motivation you seek. For real-life inspiration, consider Henry Ford, whom Hill admired. Despite ridicule for his horseless carriage idea, Ford acted decisively. He overcame fear and failure to revolutionize the auto industry. His story proves that action, not perfection, leads to breakthroughs. In conclusion, as Napoleon Hill taught, motivation doesn't precede action, it follows it. By forcing yourself to take that first step, you unlock the door to progress and success. Don't end this session without acting. Choose one small task related to your goal and do it now. Remember Hill's words. The starting point of all achievement is desire, but the finishing point is action. Start today and watch your life transform. Procrastination has no place in your journey. Embrace the power within you. Take control and move forward. Success is waiting for your first move. Let Hill's wisdom guide you. Act now and never look back. Your future self will thank you. Build the habit of immediate action. Turn hesitation into history. Fuel your dreams with decisive steps. The path to greatness begins today.